Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Tynamite Show. I am your host, of course, Tyler. Welcome back. I'm joined once again, and as always, by my producer, co-host, counterpart, partner in crime, the birthday boy yesterday, who's now big 25, David Jerome. How's it going?
I appreciate the title producer.
Yeah.
I didn't know producer was defined by hitting record on the camera and being able to focus, but I guess I'm a producer.
But you also, check our audio. You also read our producer list as well. You want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they make the show happen. They fund the show.
They do, yeah. This is paid for by the people.
Yeah, and you fund the show by just, working on it.
Exactly, man.
For free. And
literally.
As well as, of course, hitting all the tabs and chatting to me. So that's...
Absolutely.
I mean, what does Jamie do? You know what I mean?
That's it.
On Joe Rogan.
That's
literally
what
the fuck does any producer do? They're there, they make the show
interrupts.
happen.
That's what he does.
Yeah, well, he does interrupt. But yes, David's here. Happy birthday, by the way, man.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Yeah, yesterday was my 25th birthday.
How do you feel?
Yeah, man, feeling good, feeling fine. 25, I'm feeling fine.
That's good. It's been a wild week, I feel like. We didn't have a Tynamite show last week, and I was really set on not missing a show when I started this. I had a set goal for the first good 15 weeks of just consistent, not missing. But it was just one of those weeks where, oh man, everything sort of happened. Stuff in your personal life, my personal life. We were high, we were low. There was a lot going on last week. One thing, a lot of celebration though. I'd like to think it was a lot of good times. A great weekend. I got a tattoo. I got my first tattoo. That happened.
Did.
There's a story behind that. So,
do you want to show it to the camera?
Yeah, I mean, if I can get it out of the...
What did you get, Tyler?
I got... Can you see this on the camera?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
It's a pepperoni pizza slice.
Yes, sir.
And I know what most people are thinking. The same thing my work colleagues were saying to me. They're like,
what the fuck?
Tyler, you've got your life together. You're a mature, responsible adult who thinks things through. Why the fuck do you have not just a tattoo? Tattoos are fine. People have tattoos. But a tattoo of a slice of pepperoni pizza for your first tattoo.
Well, for one, it is the best pizza, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
in my opinion.
It's
definitely up there.
It's definitely up there. No, I mean, so the third member of the Holy Trinity, David, that you're one of them, I'm one of them. The third member is, of course, Jared, that many people know in this community, and especially to our As Always members. Jared turned 30 last week, and I met Jared working at a pizza restaurant when I was in high school, and my whole group of best friends all worked there. The only other person in my friend group that didn't work there is David, who I met at high school. So we all talked about for years, we should get a pizza tattoo or something, since we're all best mates, we all hang out all the time. Our partners are really close. That's our friend group. And we sort of had left it for a while, and I thought, I'm going to book him for Jared's 30th. Tattoos. I'm not going to tell him. So I organised it with one of my other mates who got the tattoo with us. So 3 of us went. I picked up Jared on Friday, day after his birthday, and then drove him down. He had no idea where we were going, what we were doing. We picked up our other mate, Dave. Not this David. Dave. And we went and got pizza tattoos. Jared was very excited about it when I told him in the car. I gave him an hour warning once we're in the car driving down to the Gold Coast, which is where we got the tattoos, just so he could decide where it was going to be. But that's what we did, and then had a big weekend. We had a good boogie, good party on Saturday night, and then it ran into midnight, which became Sunday, which was your birthday, David, and you turned 25.
Yep, and you just made it before you had to call out.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. We should discuss this. Discuss this. Yeah, I mean, the reason there was no walk in this episode of the Tynamite Show is because I fucked up my leg. I've been training for a marathon, the Gold Coast Marathon, July 3rd, 4th weekend. And that's 42 kilometers of running. I love running. I did a half marathon, just practice run on Wednesday. And about 16, which is 21 kilometers, half 42, just for fucking people who don't know maths. 16 kilometers in, my knee starts to hurt a bit, and then to the side of my calf. That's not just a little bit. just a little tweak, and I was like, I'm fine. It's all right. I mean, you're sore when you run sometimes. And in terms of like how I felt on the run, I felt fucking amazing. Cardio on point, pace on point. I was already going to hit my goal time for the half marathon event I've got in June. And I was just feeling great. I was like, look, my fitness is through the roof. I got so much confidence from this run. And I just sort of pushed through the pain. It got a little sore at about 18 kilometers. I thought, okay, well, I was planning on doing like a 45-second like walk at some point, 45-second walk to break up the run, just because I have a running belt, some Gatorade, cool down, lower the heart rate, and then start the run again. So I thought I'll do that, stretch the leg a bit, and I'm like, oh, that really fucking hurts. Especially down in the calf. And then I just started running again until I got to about 19 kilometers, and then it got to the point where I literally couldn't run anymore, and then I couldn't walk, and I had to call the missus to come pick me up, and that was just a fucking shit show, David. It was,
Nicked good.
yeah, no, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So I can't walk. That was like 6 days ago, and it's got no better. I'm seeing a foot doctor, a specialist, this week to see what the fuck is going on, because this is a disaster. I actually think I may have torn something, because it's not helping. It's probably didn't help dancing on Saturday, but that's what we're talking about. Dancing Saturday night. We're out on the town, had a really nice dinner with all our friends, and then went and had a boogie. Crunched over to midnight till David's birthday, but I couldn't stay long because we're all sitting, having a dance. My calf just was on fire. I had to sit down. Felt like an old man. It was just, it wasn't good, David. It wasn't good, and I had to bail out early. I felt like I had a bit of FOMO, missing out on the later fun and stuff. But
you witnessed everything important.
yeah, I mean, and people filmed things that I did miss as well, so there was some good stuff there.
Yeah,
there's some good stuff there. But man, it's been wild. How have you been, man? You've been running your theatre show for the last couple of weeks, and
yeah, man, we opened that last week, which is great, and then this week getting back at it, it's been really good. Great audiences, great cast of people. Feel very blessed to be a part of it, and having an absolute ball. So just doing that for the next couple of weeks. And
is this the last weekend?
No, we got this week and next week. Next week's closing.
Well, if you're in Brisbane, I mean, fucking buy tickets. It's an awesome night. Me and our group of friends, we all bought tickets and had it amazing. We were the first proper audience night, opening night. Yeah. A few weeks ago, it was amazing. Got so drunk though.
That's the way to do it, though.
No, mate, I don't know. I was blind.
Maybe just like 20% less.
Yeah, 20% less. We was just so excited, man. Like, you know what I mean? Absolutely. It's just a good night. We're having fun. I got really, like, on Saturday, Jared's girlfriend, Tia, she was telling me that I was being really mean to her. And I've lived with Tia for like a year. Like, so, like, she's like my sister. I give her shit all the time. That's how I show my love to her. But she was like, no, I was angry at you, Tyler. I was like, I don't even remember saying the shit I was saying to her, apparently. I was like, oh my God, I must have been really fucking drunk. Must have been really drunk, so that's not good. But
how dare you be mean to Tia?
I know.
How dare you?
It's so fun. And that's what I told him, like, it's how I show love. This is what I do. It's what I do. But yeah, it's been just a wild couple of weeks, man. There's so much going on in our lives. A lot of changes are coming. And it's part of the reason we didn't have a show last week. There's a lot of changes coming in your personal life, in my personal life. And it takes a lot of mental capacity. And I think there was only one day we possibly could have filmed last week. And you and I, neither of us were mentally prepared to deal with any sort of filming or recording of anything. We're like, no, it's just not, we're not there for it at that point. But here now, back again, another episode of the Tynamite Show. We've got some great topics today. I want to talk a bit about Assassin's Creed, but not Assassin's Creed. So that's exciting. A rant, as it always is these days. It can't be anything else. There's no point in me talking about it unless it's a rant. I want to talk about FABLE. There's some FABLE news that has come out, as well, of course. Marvel news. Phase 4 Slate has been listed. I want to discuss it. I want to talk about it. And then we've got a premiere of David's newest original song, the next episode of Den Sessions, which is an EP that's incoming in the next couple of months. Plus, of course, another thing, David's deck of cards, his first original song, is available on streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music, all that great stuff. go look it up. David Jerome, Deck of Cards.
Please do.
But at the end of this episode, as I was saying, the song called Stand By You will be debuting. And then it will release, of course, on David's channel Saturday evening, Australian time. So Saturday, midday, morning, depending on the US, UK, all those other places in the world. It's an amazing song, one of my favourites of David's. It's an exciting show, so can't wait to get into it. Before we do, we've got to thank our Patreon producers for making this show happen. David, who do we have to thank?
Got a few people to thank. We have a cereal bowl would make a better vessel. Avery Dobbs, Clark 53, Damien, Ferrantino, Flash Paradox, Franco, Jesper Olsen, King Richard III, Real Kermit Cinema, Robbie, Ryan Hafer, Tristan Weaver, Viridian, and Ballsack 47.
That's it. Amazing. Thank you so much to our Patreon producers for making this show happen. We wouldn't be here without
Make it a
you.
reality.
Really, really appreciate you. And of course, let's just get right into the show. The war against Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed continues, and I am, I guess, sort of still part of it, apparently. No, I'm not. I'm trying not to be. I don't give a fuck about Assassin's Creed. I'm not interested in playing any of the future games. However, a lot of my friends are. A lot of my community is. And my Twitter feed is constantly just again and again and again. This DLC is coming out, or Ubisoft have done this microtransaction. There's shit going on all the time, and I had to say something. And what I had to say the other day on Twitter caused some discussion, and I want to respond to that on the show. Which is what I said was, guys, Assassin's Creed's not going to get better. Stop. And a lot of people seemed to assume what I meant by that rather than what I actually meant by that. So I'm here to clarify that. I'm here to discuss why everyone needs to stop. And I don't mean something like James. James is about to put out a video. The video might already be out by the time you're watching this. Go over to his channel and check it out. Talking about the problems within Ubisoft and what they're doing to the video games industry through games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Odyssey and Origins before it. One being their terribly bloated video games as it is, and excusing that for quality by overbloating hundreds of hours of lackluster, poorly designed content. It could be about their microtransactions that is making their customers pay truckloads of fucking money to get very small rewards. And of course people are going to say, they're not making them do anything, it's all optional. Fuck yourself, fuck you. Why is it there? You know what I mean? There's a reason it's there. So, whatever. We're going to get into that. But the biggest and most important one, of course, being the fact that Ubisoft, as we know, created a vicious work environment for many, many years and was supposed to do an internal investigation through a third-party company. Where the fuck's the results of that? That's a big one. I'm all for complaining about all those things. What I'm not here for, though, is seeing people constantly compare. I can't believe Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed was here with a picture of fucking Altair, and now it's here, and it's some ridiculous picture. David's got up on the screen here. It's this fucking Isu armor they've put into Valhalla. That's a new Valhalla armor you get. You have wings, David. You have wings.
Oh, yeah. It seems canon.
It only costs you $25 if you want that of real money.
I mean, it's Ubisoft. Like, are you actually surprised?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all. I expect nothing less from this. It doesn't bother me seeing that, because I'm never going to pay for that. I'm never going to play that. It doesn't matter to me, and I expect nothing less from it. And if you want to do that, fucking go for it. But I'm not going to pretend it is anything other than what it is, which is absolute fucking malpractice. And it's a plague to the games industry that costs fucking 25 Australian dollars. Or whatever the fuck it costs. Or the Helix credits, which you need to pay real money for to get in game. It's just insane. It's just insane. But what I'm saying is, you've got to be angry at the right thing here. If you're angry at it because it costs a ludicrous amount of money and it's poor practice and it's plaguing the video games industry, we're on the same team. 100%, no problem, bingo, I'm with you. What I'm not on the same team for is complaining that I can't believe this was Assassin's Creed and now this is Assassin's Creed. What they need to do is go back to their... Hey guys, it's over. It's never going to happen. We don't need to look back at Assassin's Creed 1 and then compare it to Valhalla. We never need to do that. Do you know what we need to do? Look back at Assassin's Creed 1 and then play that. And then enjoy that. And then move on. Because this will never be replicated again. There will never, ever be anything even close to similar to what that was made by Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed, if that's what you're after, it's over. And that's just what I want to establish here. There's no point in complaining about Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Odyssey or just the franchise in general anymore about what it should be in the future. Because it's never going to be what the hardcore original fans, which is an enormous fan base, wants it to be. And people like to say they sell more copies than they ever have, which is fucking bullshit anyway. And they're making more money than of course they have because they overbloat their games with fucking microtransactions and all that shit. They make way more money now because they do it. Of course, congratulations, that makes your game awesome. No, it fucking doesn't. It's fucking bullshit. And people are like, there's way more fans than there were before. There just fucking isn't. And their hardcore fan base, and even the mainstream fan base around that, was massive and huge. Just because they didn't make millions of dollars from DLC and microtransactions doesn't mean they weren't successful games, and doesn't mean they didn't have a massive audience and fan base. The fan base is enormous, and they're crying out for change and have been since 2012. It's been almost 10 years of this since the franchise was what it once was in its original form. And all I want to say is I let go after Valhalla. Valhalla was the end. It was my last year, and I knew going into Valhalla, I'm like, this is going to be the last chance of it being good, and I know it's going to be shit after this, but I'm just going to try to enjoy it for what it is. And I try to enjoy it, and the thing was, Valhalla was terrible. It's a terrible game. In almost every conceivable way, it's a terrible game. It's just barely better than Odyssey. And I accepted from that point on, we're like, well, this was the only hope for having a game that was at least half decent, and it wasn't. That's cool. Nothing's going to happen in the future. So I'm just done seeing people complain about what it should be. Because, and I appreciate it because I was you for so long. I can appreciate it because I was you for so long. I know what you want. I know what you're trying to do. I'm on your team of what you want. But I'm trying to help you by saying, let it go. It's over. You'll never get what you want. You will continue to fight it forever, and it will never ever change. I'm saying give up. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying let it go, because you'll actually free you. I feel so much better having just let go. I can sit and enjoy the Ezio trilogy and love it the same way I always have, without playing it going, oh man, I wish they'd make another game like this, because I don't even care if they did. I've got this to play. I don't need them to make another one anymore. I'm done with it. They're never going to, so why would I even worry about it? That's what I want to clarify here. That's what I mean by Assassin's Creed's never going to be good. It's never going to get better. Ever. Now, does that mean we stop criticizing Ubisoft's malpractice and their developing of the game in basic structure form? No. I'm on the same team with you. Fuck their microtransactions. Fuck their scummy DLC systems. Fuck their laziness and how they design their games. Do you know what I would like to see from the next Assassin's Creed? I don't give a shit whether there's a single assassin in it. I could care less. I will give them a tick of approval. I'm not going to play it, but I'll give them a thumbs up for all they got to do is one thing. Make the campaign and main story of the game 20 hours long and no longer, and it takes no more than 50 hours to platinum the entire game. You would get a thumbs up from me. That's all I'd like to see from the next Assassin's Creed, because that would make it a regular fucking video game. And maybe they can make some quality in that 20 hours about whatever historical setting they want to do, about fucking Isu superheroes with flaming swords and flying mounts. I don't care. I'm not going to play it anyway, but I'd be impressed with them making a game that's not overbloated and lazy. That is plaguing the industry. There's so many other game companies doing it. Ubisoft are not the only culprits, for sure. Absolutely not. Microtransactions are plaguing the industry through all those EA companies. Destiny's doing it. So many game companies do it. It deserves to be criticized. Ubisoft are just so bad at it because they price out the ass for the most basic shit. I'm on the same team as you. And there's nothing more I want to see than the results of this fucking investigation into Ubisoft. With the sexual harassment claims, the abuse claims. There was so much shit that went on there. There are so many stories that came out. It's almost been a year. What the fuck's going on? We're not forgetting about it, and I'm all on the team to keep shouting about it. James is made this video, and I can't wait to see it. And I'm going to share the shit out of it because what James is talking about is right because he responded to my tweet. What he's fighting against is bad practices in this games industry and a company that deserves to be called out for its misconduct. You know, Yves Guillemot, the CEO of Ubisoft, needs to be fired. Fuck Yves. Fuck him. I hope he loses his fucking job. This guy has helped breed an abusive, disgusting, sexist work environment. And I don't believe for one fucking second he didn't know about it. And I will, until he loses his job, always be on the loud vocal majority that needs to fucking scream for him to lose his job. This guy's a piece of shit. This guy's a piece of shit. And I don't believe for one second he didn't know everything going on because it is unbelievably plagued in every area of his company. Not just in fucking one studio, in multiple studios all across the world. Fuck that guy. So yes, I'm happy to keep complaining about that shit. I am happy to be screaming and ranting about it on videos, on Twitter, whatever. But what I wanted to clarify when I said Assassin's Creed's never going to get better, stop comparing the old games to the new games and telling us what you want to be in the future because it's never going to happen. Let what Assassin's Creed was go and just play the old games and never play the new games again. Do not support this company by paying money to their new games as if they're one day going to fix themselves, as if they're one day going to be what you want them to be, as if one day they're going to be what Assassin's Creed was. They're never going to be that. Let it go. Stop giving them money. And fuck their microtransactions. Fuck their internal investigation. Where the fuck is it? Let me know. I want to see it. I'm done. I just want to clarify that. There it is. It's clarified. We can move the fuck on from Assassin's Creed. Jesus Christ. So we finally got some Fable news this week, which is exciting. It's not much, but I definitely think it's worth talking about and having just a bit of a discussion over. And we got the news that we know that Fable is actually going to be running in the engine that Forza Horizon is created in. And of course, for those who don't know, Playground Games, the UK studio, is developing the new Fable game, the reboot, the next chapter. We're not really sure what it's going to be. We don't know enough about it. But for, of course, Windows 10 and the Xbox Series S and X, which is so exciting. Fable's one of my all-time favorite franchises. I have been following this development of this Fable game for years now, and any bit of news I'm going to want to talk about. So Fable is going to be in the Forza Horizon engine. Makes 100% sense. It's been reported by IGN. David, could you just read the top of that article, the first couple of little paragraphs there for me?
Here we go. So, Microsoft's new Fable game is being developed using the Forza engine, according to a job listing on Microsoft's website. The listing for a software engineer states that the team at Turn 10, developers of the Forza series, will be working with the Forza Tech engine and will be enriching the toolset to support an open-world action RPG, Fable.
Okay. So...
Cool.
And apparently as well, it mentioned things like that job will, cross over three AAA games, two different series. So whether that's two Fable games and a Forza Horizon or two Forzas and a Fable, we don't know, but we know Fable's involved in that. I mean, it's not a shock. It's exciting because if you go to the tab next to it, David, I've got the Forza Horizon just so you can sort of see what the engine looks like. But it's just mute that for me before you play it though. We don't want the sound from that coming in. But you can sort of see where the visuals are like in the Forza games. And I mean, you've got a team that knows this engine in and out. So for them to work with that engine makes complete sense. I don't think it's necessarily a surprise to anyone, but it's just nice to sort of see that they're working closely with what they know and what they know how to make. And it's an engine that visually looks stunning. It's just graphically, what we know they can do with it is really exciting. So to see them build an open world Fable game with that is amazing. Because these Forza games are open world. You know, and it's a different beast. And I always say when people are like, yeah, but how's a fucking company that makes a racing game, a car game, going to develop a fantasy RPG? Well, look at Guerrilla, the company that developed Killzone for many years, a first-person shooter, and then went on to create Horizon Zero Dawn, an open-world RPG. You know, Fable's going to be a similar style to that, a similar style to The Witcher. And to see and know that it's going to be developed with an engine they know how to work with so well, you know, I think the main thing I get out of that is just a bit of comfort in knowing that we're not going to get some studio that's probably going to come out with this fucking shit show, glitchy mess. Depends how far they're going to push this engine, though, to be fair. And developing it for, I mean, what Microsoft's really focusing on is making sure they're building these first-party games for not just these Xbox consoles, but also PC. So it's exciting. And these Forza Horizon games are very popular. You know, very, very well crafted. I'm not a racing game person. Are you? Do you play any of these games?
No, I mean, the most I played was Burnout Revenge back in the day. That was a sick game. That was actually sick.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, wouldn't mind giving like a decent racing game a go. It looks pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, they're really well designed. So, yeah, it's just good to know. I'm just happy to know what sort of engine it's going to be in. Again, we know Fable's a long way off. They're still doing bloody job listings for this, mate. They only got a writer and a producer in the last 6 months, you know, in there. So there's a lot of time between now and when Fable comes out. At least I'd say 2 years. I mean, end of next year. So I'd say at least 18 months. End of next year would be the soonest. I'd be shocked if it was mentioned before then. I expect to probably see Fable again at E3 this year, or not at E3, but around that period of E3 would be when Microsoft do some sort of, you know, show reel event. I expect to, same as last year, I expect to see Fable again in a bit more detail rather than a teaser, just a bit more of a probably pre-rendered again. It probably won't be gameplay, but just to see a bit more of the world, a bit more of a story tease perhaps, and what the sort of tone and vibe and era that it's going to be set in will be. And then probably 12 months after that, you know, mid 2022, then we're going to see some gameplay probably for the first time. And maybe a release window, which will either be at the soonest end of 2022, but I'd expect it in 2023 is when I think Fable comes out, 2023. So
solid.
Yeah. Plenty of time. You know, this company, when I say company, I don't mean Microsoft, Microsoft, but also, Turn 10, but Playground Games. They know how to work with the engine, and they're just sticking to what they know, and then crafting a new experience, you know, in a fantasy genre. And I'm sure there's people. There's some great minds who've been through it on this show before. There's some great minds working on this game, so I'm really excited to see where Fable's going to go, as always. But yeah, Fable, it's coming. Just a fucking long way away.
Keen, man. Could be the best thing that Xbox do in a while, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, Halo Infinite's on the horizon at the end of the year, and they're doing some really good stuff with this, like Halo Infinite diary entries they're doing. Every month they're interviewing a different area of the development team, talking to them and just giving, you know, it's a blog update. But we haven't seen the game. By this point of like Halo 5 and 4, we'd had like the multiplayer beta. We'd actually been playing the game. We'd seen gameplay and trailers and story. We don't fucking know what's going on with Halo Infinite. We don't know what the fucking story is. We don't really know what's going on. We haven't seen shit. I don't know where the fuck Halo Infinite is. And it's supposed to come out this year. So I'm very concerned about Infinite. Like, they've done a lot of good things after their disaster flop of a showing last year. They've made a lot of good changes, did a 12-month delay, but is that enough? I don't know. I'd love to see another 12-month delay, personally. I'd like to see the game at end of next year and really... But I think if they haven't already pre-planned a 2-year delay, then there's no point. You know what I mean? They needed to have like, okay, we've got 2 years, let's totally reshuffle this game and the story and everything and the structure. But in 1 year, Like them just delaying it from this point on would be just them doing another, big rejig, but not big enough. They've planned their rejig for a 12-month window. Here we are. Let's see if they can nail it. Who knows? But we'll soon see. Hopefully Microsoft can get some wins. They've been doing some good things recently. Microsoft have been building some momentum, so I'm really hoping that seeing Halo Infinite soon in the next couple of months, and then Fable will really spark some interest, plus some new IPs that, they've got some good things going on. So, time will tell. But everything Fable so far is still looking good. Still happy with it, so we'll soon see. We'll soon see. The Marvel Phase 4 slate has been re-revealed with its films, more specifically than anything. Just last week, we were going to talk about it on the show last week before we postponed it. So I'm really excited and really wanted to delve into it on the show today for Phase 4. They did a bit of a trailer about, getting back to the cinemas and supporting movie goers and movie culture with, some slates of their upcoming films. Of course, Black Widow being the first one in July, Shang-Chi in September, and then we got the first ever look of Eternals, which looked, it looked like a Marvel movie. It looked really good, but it didn't show too much. I don't know a lot about the Eternals really at all as a comic book fan. So I can't sit here and say I'm some Eternals expert. I don't know shit about them. I know there's supposed to be some sort of like demigods, gods, or superior beings. I guess like the Asgardians in a way, in a different way. I don't know. I sound like an idiot talking about it to fans that probably know what's up. But then they also look like humans. So I'm excited for the Eternals because I know so little about it. And I don't really want to know, to be honest with you. I don't want to know what the Eternals are, but there's a great cast in there. And it was the first sort of little look at that, so that's exciting. Plus, of course, we saw that in December, Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man 3 comes out. So we saw the 4 Marvel movies coming out in the second half of this year in the cinemas. So I can't wait for that. And obviously, being very lucky to be from Australia, I know that I'm going to get to watch all of these movies in the cinema. Because, we're nice and open and have been for many, many months because we're a COVID-free, more or less, country. We have one here and there when they come from overseas, but we're good. So I'm excited to get back to the cinemas, get back to the movies, and have movies actually coming out. Because even though cinemas have been open, we've gone one time, David, you and I.
Yeah.
And there's nothing out. You know what I mean? Nothing's coming out. So even though cinemas are open, what the fuck's the point? I love going to the movies, but as soon as these movies come back out, I'm going to go to the cinemas every chance I get. I've missed it so much.
We need to wait for the US to have...
Well, that's it. This is the beginning now, man, because the US is opening up and they've got all these movies they've delayed for so long. They're ready to release. Like Black Widow was supposed to come out May last year. It's been done for a year. So Black Widow's coming out. Do you want to keep scrolling down just past Eternals? You got Spider-Man No Way Home. Next year, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is it March 25th? Is that what it says?
Yeah.
March 25th, 2022. Thor, Love and Thunder, the 4th installment of Thor, May 6th, 2022, which is all these movies you sort of knew were roundabouts when they were coming out, so that's just so exciting. Thor, Love and Thunder, Taika Waititi again. You saw Thor Ragnarok, David?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. What, you liked it? You're not the biggest Marvel person, but you've watched a lot of the Marvel movies.
Yeah. I've seen every Marvel film. Yeah.
You've seen every Marvel film?
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for Ant-Man. Haven't watched Ant-Man.
You haven't watched any of the Ant-Mans?
Nah.
You like Paul Rudd, don't you?
Yeah, he's alright.
Yeah, it's more.
He's good.
I'm the Paul Rudd guy.
Yeah.
I love Paul Rudd. So I have a soft spot for Ant-Man just purely because I love Paul Rudd so much.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen every other one.
Yeah, saw Black Panther?
Yes, Black Panther.
Well, that's the next one on the slate. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, July 6, 2022. So, it originally was Black Panther 2. Here we've got the subtitle, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So that's, Chadwick Boseman's passed away. Black Panther. What are they going to do here? That's really what... We don't know a lot. They're filming now, I believe. Or they're about to film really soon. So, so a lot of the cast and crew, there's been a few things that have come out about it. People saying that it's, paying a lot of really good respect and it's the perfect way to do it sort of thing. So I'm very interested to see how they handle it, because obviously they've said they're not going to have a CGI Chadwick Boseman in there.
Thank God.
They're not going to do any of that shit. Do we want to just stay down, bro? Down at the keep that right there. Perfect. Thank you. I don't know. What do you think they can do? How do they pay respect, do you reckon, David, to Chadwick? They can't. You can't they're not recasting. We know that.
Like, how do they write him out?
Well, that's the real question. How do you write him out respectfully, pay respect to him throughout the movie, and then move forward? Because you're making a whole movie about it, man. You're not going to just ignore that side of the universe. They're going to continue with the Wakanda space in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Black Panther story. Now, Black Panther's a mantle. There were Black Panthers before King T'Challa. So who comes next? Will it be a story of the rise of the next Black Panther? I imagine it has to be. Who that could be, I don't know. How do you do that respectfully without it being really uncomfortable for everyone so soon after Chadwick's died? I don't know. I feel so bad for that crew and that director that's writing this.
They'll make it work.
Because it's the same crew that made the first movie.
Yeah.
But how much pressure is on them to pay that respect and also make a good movie in its own right? Like, you don't want it to just be a fucking eulogy. That's depressing.
No.
And that's not what Chadwick would want either. Surely.
I don't think it will be that. I think they'll tastefully pay respects to him.
Yeah.
And I think they'll just move on with the series. I think they'll shift the mantle over maybe to a female.
Why do you think female?
I know, just to kind of...
I feel like you got to go... So I'm with you only because you've just got to go so different.
Yeah.
Just because you can't
just because
replace... You don't want it to be like the replacement.
Yeah, well, like I remember like in watching Black Panther, like his queen, like she was a very strong figure.
Yeah, or his sister.
Or his sister. And like in the culture of the Wakandans, like the females are warriors as well.
Mm-hmm,
so I think it could easily be, swapped over.
Agreed.
And I think... Like, I don't think they have a black woman, like, in a leading hero role yet.
They're about to. The Marvels.
Oh,
the Marvels. We'll get into that in a sec, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just think the female's the best choice because any male that steps into that role will be compared to Chadwick.
Yeah.
A female's like, oh, this is totally new.
Yeah.
It's just its own thing. Who knows? They might bring... I mean, Killmonger died in Black Panther, but people are talking about him coming back, as in Michael B. Jordan.
I mean, he's the only one that could have made it work as a male character.
He's the only one. He's the only one.
He's the only male in the Black Panther franchise that would have been able to do it justice.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed. But I think it fits the canon, because of how strong the female warriors of Wakanda are, that a female takes up the mantle, and it also deals with the fact that Killmonger is dead, and putting any other black male in that role, you're just gonna have a clash because Chadwick was like such a figurehead. Yeah. So I think you avoid that problem and you stay within the canon of Black Panther. So that would be my prediction.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I think you're right. And just to your point, a good segue, black female in a leading role, you've got the Marvels.
Yeah, interesting.
So the Marvels, we knew about it's Captain Marvel 2. You obviously saw Captain Marvel?
I did. I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't mind. It's fine. To me, it's just an average Marvel movie. I had a lot of issues with the writing more than anything of the character. But what I do like about the Marvels is... Do you know anything about the Marvels and what that's going to be?
No, I'm just looking up the character now.
So it's Monica Rambeau. It was introduced in... Well, Monica Rambeau was actually introduced in Captain Marvel in the first movie. You know Captain Marvel's best friend, the other pilot?
Oh, yeah.
Her daughter.
That's right.
So her daughter became a figure character, and we saw her with some powers in WandaVision this year on the Disney Plus series WandaVision. So Monica was a main character in that. She was so good, such an awesome highlight of that series. And then they set her up to be kind of going into, outer space and dealing with, being in Captain Marvel 2 is what we assumed. But in the Marvels, you have 3 characters that we can assume are going to be in it. You've got Captain Marvel, You got Monica Rambeau will be the other lead, and the third one being Miss Marvel, that they have a Disney Plus show coming out. I think it's the end of this year or start of next year. So they're introducing Miss Marvel, who's like a really big super fan of Captain Marvel. That's like who her character is, and she gets superpowers, but she's like actually just a super fan of all these superheroes. So they're going to have, I imagine, Miss Marvel's certainly going to be in this. I mean, the S in the Marvel's logo is just taken from the S in the Miss Marvel logo. And then Monica's going to be in it. So to have Carol, as in Captain Marvel, to have Monica, and then have Miss Marvel, to have these three characters come together as a team. Like, you're talking about an all-female team-up movie, David. That's never been done. And I think for all the bullshit crap, and a lot of it was bullshit crap that Captain Marvel got and Brie Larson gets, I think this will be a great movie to, I think, show a lot of depth to her character. Because I do agree that there wasn't a lot of depth shown to Captain Marvel, in my opinion, in that movie. They really were trying to make a bit of a statement, and I'm like, okay, you're trying to make a statement, but was it a good movie? Not necessarily. Did you do a lot for that character? Not really. It was just, it's a very overpowered character. There wasn't a lot of flaws or challenges. I wasn't that impressed by the character development. I'm really excited at the prospect of throwing in some other really powerful characters with Carol to bounce off of, and to see what those relationships in a team would be like with Miss Marvel, this girl that's just looks up to Captain Marvel so much. And then you've got Monica, who has a very different opinion of Carol. They actually might butt heads a bit, but to create that team and see how the dynamic works, will it be like three sisters? Will it be that sort of relationship? Will it be a totally different one? I don't know. But I'm actually really excited to see that dynamic there, because one, I'm excited for the story of Miss Marvel. I like the story in the comics with that character. And then Carol, I just loved her so much in WandaVision. So I'm really she's the character I'm most excited to see in this movie. And I think she'll be an absolute beacon of light in the Marvels. So I'm actually very intrigued. And they've been doing a lot of teasers with the Marvels, with what's going on with Nick Fury in space with Sword. We saw it in the post-credit scene of Spider-Man Far From Home. So I think there's a lot of importance going into this movie, the Marvels. I think this will be a really, really important movie in the future of the MCU, in my opinion. They've done so many teasers to it. WandaVision, Spider-Man, post-credit scenes all teased this. And now you've got Miss Marvel before it that's going to set up. So you've got a few different movies setting up what's going on. So it's exciting. It's exciting. The other one, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So the third installment in the Ant-Man series. Again, super excited for Paul Rudd to be back, for the Ant-Man character to be back. The repercussions of Endgame for him, a big part of saving, obviously, the world with the time travel and all that shit. Having the Wasp back, and those two all together. But then Ant-Man's daughter is apparently a big figure in this movie now that she's a lot older, because she didn't get blipped. So we saw in Endgame, she's probably like 16, 17. There's a lot of passing of the torch in this next generation, even with the Hawkeye series and the Black Widow movie, passing the torch onto these younger superheroes that are going to carry the same mantle of Ant-Man, of Hawkeye, of Black Widow. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that plays out. But until it's out, I'll be excited to see it. I'll watch the shit out of it. But I mean, Ant-Man's just aren't standouts overall. They're just a bit of fun. But the thing I'm most excited about with this slate, in the 2022 movies, you've got Thor 4. It'll be Thor Love and Thunder. But next on the list, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Wait, is that 2023? When does that say? March 5th, 2023?
May 5th.
May 5th, 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, man. So 2 years from now, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hope it's better than the second one. That was pretty garbage.
Did you not like it? I loved the second one, man.
It's pretty forced, in my opinion.
Forced what? What was forced?
Just, I don't know. I think a lot of the comedy and a lot of like the shitty character development, I don't know. It after the first one, I don't know. I guess the first one just set a really high standard, and it just didn't meet it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I really loved Guardians 2. Really, really loved it. I didn't like it as much as 1, but I really, really liked it. And honestly, Guardians, and then seeing them in Infinity War, Guardians are arguably, other than the Captain America corner, Guardians might be my second favorite sort of little corner and franchise in the MCU. I'm a massive fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's where I went from a Marvel fan to a Marvel super fan. I just loved all those early MCU movies. But then Guardians of the Galaxy was coming out, I was laughing. I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit? I don't know anything about the Guardians. I was like, this is where they're going to fuck it up. They're getting Batista from WWE in a Marvel movie. Oh, this is going to flop. This is where Marvel fought. They've bit off more than they can chew. They can't pull this shit off. And then I went and saw Guardians. I was like, well, I couldn't be more wrong. And I'll never doubt them again. And I refuse to ever doubt Marvel. And they've never let me down. So Guardians is just become a standout for me. And I can't wait for Guardians 3. And then MCU getting a hold of Fox and them developing a Fantastic Four movie. I'm not all that excited about Fantastic Four because I haven't really enjoyed any of the iterations of it in the last 20 years. But if I'll definitely see it, of course. And it's,
that's where bloody
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Yeah,
Got
I
his
know.
big
Well,
break.
yeah, no, I get it. I appreciate that. But Chris Evans is Captain America, so we're not worrying about the fucking Human Torch here.
He might double up.
No, he's not doubling up. Don't shut your fucking mouth.
He was a good Human Torch, though.
I know. Yeah, he was. He was fine. I wasn't a big fan of the movies, to be honest. But, I mean, it's Marvel Studios doing it now, so I have no doubt it's going to be absolutely fucking fantastic, David. It'll be fantastic.
It'll be pretty good.
So, you didn't get the pun there. That's fine.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there he goes.
I see.
He sees it now. He's scrolling through his Instagram followers. No, I don't know what you're doing. But... yeah, Fantastic Four. So I think that's, the main phase for Slate. Apparently there's more movies to be announced that haven't even been announced yet. But I expect these will be the recent slates. Everything will be after that. Obviously there's going to be a Captain America 4 in there down the line. An X-Men movie in there as well. Deadpool 3 is getting developed right now as well. Marvel Studios confirmed. Kevin Feige said recently. So Ryan Reynolds is writing the script for Deadpool 3 and it's going to be in the MCU now.
Interesting.
I'm really excited to see what they do with a Deadpool 3 in the MCU. Deadpool in the MCU, dude. Do you know how fucking awesome that is? Yeah. Have you ever read any of the Deadpool comics?
I wonder how much freedom he's going to have.
Oh, dude. He's not going to have all the freedom, but he's going to have a lot more.
Because they're going to have to be able to show this film to children. You know what I mean? Because Marvel films...
No, it's going to be R-rated. It's going to be R.
Okay.
The Deadpool 3 will be R.
Well, they didn't, the Deadpool 3 will be R, but whenever Deadpool appears in another Marvel film, these films need to appeal to kids.
No, I understand.
You know
there'll be ways to do it in other movies, but in Deadpool 3, they can do in Deadpool 3. What other characters can they pull in? There's one of the comics, one of my favorite Marvel comics is Deadpool kills the entire Marvel universe. And it's just him going to, different parts of the Marvel universe and, murdering everyone. He kills all the superheroes.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, no. I'm really excited to see what they do with Deadpool. In Deadpool 3 and how they continue that. And because they can just break the fourth wall. They're literally... I'm sure they'll have literally Deadpool addressing the fact that they're owned by Disney now and he's now in the MCU, so you won't see any of the, the old actors or characters from the previous two movies and, they'll just move on with everything.
Yeah.
And he'll jump right in. I don't think Deadpool will appear in other than, little cameos. I don't think he'll be a main character in any, probably, team-up movie or other movies. I think he'll just be a funny cameo. Because, again, you're right, you can't have him swearing. I mean, you could beep him and have him be like, oh my god, they're beeping me because it's not R and all that shit, He can address it.
Yeah, true.
So there's a few ways to do it, but it's Ryan Reynolds. He's born for it. So it's amazing. Marvel's my shit. I love Marvel so much. And just having this big break from Marvel and then come back into WandaVision, then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they're just phenomenal shows they've been nailing, but I'm just so excited to get back to the movies and watch some Marvel.
For sure, man.
So even Black Widow, sure, we know, that Black Widow's dead, and this is set before Endgame and all that, before Infinity War, but I don't know, man. I'm still very excited to see where we go and to see what happens with the side character they're introducing in the next Black Widow in Florence Pugh's character and all that. So
very interesting.
And just to be back in the movies to see it is enough for me. It's just a bit of fun. Marvel's fun. Marvel's to me is all about fun.
Yeah.
There's sides of it I'm really invested in. The ongoing narrative I'm obviously invested in. Captain America and that side of things I'm really invested in. But everything else, to me, it's just about fun, man. It's just about fun characters and having fun. You don't have to take it too seriously. but at the same time, it takes itself seriously enough that you can respect it. And that's what I love about Marvel. It's a perfect balance between fun and actually respecting the audience's time and intelligence by trying new things and also at the same time balancing and playing it safe. So Marvel Phase 4, fucking can't wait for it and can't wait to see where we go from there. But to wrap up this episode of the Tynamite Show, we have a premiere clip, David.
That's it.
From you. Your new original song, Stand By You, the acoustic version of it, in the next episode of Den Session. So enjoy that and go check out David's channel. Link will be in the description. And on Saturday, that's Saturday, what will that be? May 16th, 17th? 16th. It will be, 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, May 15th. May 15th, Saturday, it will be on David Jerome's channel as a solo video. And then eventually, once Den Sessions is finished as a little EP, it'll be released on streaming services to listen to all the songs. We've done one Den Session. This is episode 2, and there'll be a few more in the next coming weeks and months. So thank you for tuning into this episode of The Tynamite Show, and I hope you enjoy Stand By You by David Jerome.
Oh, you girl standing there next to that empty chair. Would you really mind or care if I stand by you? Oh, you girl standing there in a shiny new pair of heels. Tell me if you feel what I feel. Can I make you a deal? Looks like you've been standing a long and lonesome time for someone who maybe never came. Now you don't need a man to want you or someone to hold you tight, but it don't mean I don't want to. Oh girl, if you don't really mind or care, let me come on over there and stand by you. Oh, you girl on your own, blue eyes looking down at your phone, hoping for a ring or a tone that just won't come. What a fool to leave you standing by yourself. If he were to see you, he'd say the same. Now you don't need a man to want you or someone to hold you tight, but it don't mean I don't want to. Oh girl, if you don't really mind or care, let me come on over there to stand by you. Oh girl, if you don't really mind or care, let me come on over there to stand by you. Oh, you girl standing there, looks like we're the last ones here, waiting for your prince to appear as the clock strikes midnight. Oh, you girl standing there, suddenly you're smiling at me. Suddenly you're smiling at me. Now why could that be? Oh girl, there if you don't really mind or care. I'm a coming over there to stand by you. Oh, girl, standing there if you don't really mind or care. Oh, I'm a coming over there to stand by you. To stand by you. To stand by you.
That's a wrap.